Live from my basement. It is Denver Broncos Mile High View. No commercials, no bullshit. I'll be getting that trash out, Mom. Just give me a second. I'm building my Star Trek bridge set here. I got some fake Super Bowl trophies in the back. You want to see? You want to go on the tour of the monument to the Broncos?
Let's do it.
Yeah. So anyway. Well, I'm living the life. I've got booze down here. I've got hookers. I mean the good ones, not the crackory type. I mean the real porn star hot ones. You know, it's that basement living. I'm telling you just don't know what you're missing until you've had your basement living.
You gotta send me your pimp card and I can
Oh
get.
yeah. No, but you'll have to come down to the basement. That's what you got to do. Come down to the basement.
You have your Dungeons and Dragons down there.
Well, but I got nobody to play with. When people make idiotic comments like that, it's more humorous than it is. And I'm gonna make them mad. I'm gonna call them basement dwellers. Oh, hurt me, please hurt me. But yeah, exactly. On a serious note, I haven't got around to it, but that person shouldn't be allowed on the channel when I don't care what they say. They can make comments, but something very nefarious happened, and it's happened before. And during the week, I went on my phone to the channel. I'm not logged in as a subscriber or anything. As I'm just somebody coming in, and I saw with my own eyeballs that your conversation was lifted by YouTube. It turns out it was lifted by YouTube. And we're being called liars. So then I come back and I'm at, like, what's going on? And you tell me what you saw.
From what
The
do you
comments at YouTube. Yeah, your comments were removed.
It's basically, so right after I did the last comment with the guy I was in a conversation with, we were having a back and forth with, just opinion on opinion. I got a report that I got banned, or my comments got removed for harassment and bullying. So I don't know. It could have been YouTube. It could have been that guy. I'm not going to make any accusations.
Well, no. Well, YouTube, somebody has to physically go in and do it.
And I honestly, it is what it is. I'm not going to make a big deal about it. If that guy wanted to do it, okay, I'm not going to make a big deal about it. It just proves that everything he was saying, he's just spin doctoring. So I'm not going to get into more about it.
Well, for me, I have a channel. I've got to. This is motivation just to get off of YouTube because it's just too easy for somebody to come in and make accusations just to screw with us. And this is my own theory. I'll make a theory because I've seen this and I've monitored it, and I know you don't have access to that, but when the Broncos were winning, we were getting these upticks. And I know exactly what that was because everything flatlined while all the bullshit was being spewed about how great and wonderful and this is, no fly zone 2.0. Oh my God, how great. And I'm listening to comments elsewhere like, these people are really buying this garbage. So people are buying this garbage. So our message is kind of falling on deaf ears because the paid for platforms are, putting out these Dove Valley talking points. That's where your money goes to is, if you want to be lied to, like I said. So we're just saying this isn't going to bode well. As soon as the losses started to come in, though, those tricklers left. And I believe, in my opinion, that this one was so hell-bent to tell us how wrong we were as soon as, when we said circle these games. And when that blew up in that person's face.
You said it. I didn't say that. You're the one that said circle these games.
I said, and I'm convinced that because we tracked some of these people to the feel-good sites and they're spewing out the bullshit. So we know that what their intention is. They come here and they don't have good intent to begin with. Oh, I'm a subscriber. Please give me a break. The real subscribers came when reality started setting in. They said, man, you guys were absolutely right. Yeah, duh. So I just think that it's obvious that this blew up in this person's face, that he was hell bent to do whatever it took to make a point, which is pointless. I mean, his whole arguments have been pointless.
I just want to say something, and this is going to be the last thing I say about this person. It's not going to be anything rude or disrespectful. I'm not getting paid to do this. I'm making time out of my day and out of my personal life to come and try to do the best I can to provide analysis on this team. Yeah, am I wrong on a lot of things? Absolutely. And I've been,
I would say a lot of things. I wouldn't go there.
Yeah. But
Some,
yeah,
maybe, yeah.
I'm doing this out of the sheer fact I love football. I want the Denver Broncos to be good. And the sheer fact that you have to come on here and that person has to come on here and, just be basically a mile high huddle troll. You can do that. I'm not going to bother to comment on you, but I just want to say this to that one person. You are absolutely wrong about Draymond Jones, and you will continue to be wrong about Draymond Jones through this entire season. I guarantee you that.
Well, it's beyond Draymond. When we point out Draymond Jones, it's an issue that goes way, way beyond it. Yeah. It's all the lying that went on, the spin doctoring that went on, and it's the picks. It's a big umbrella of things, and he's just a microcosm of a bigger problem.
Yep.
And the bottom line is people have to actually start taking pieces apart, piece by piece, and really checking them out and see what you got when you got. And that's what we do. And I wanted to comment on something you said about we don't get paid for this. No wonder you don't get paid for this stuff. Well, our track record beats the platform you come from. I mean, hands down, it's not even close. We don't try to lie to people. Are we wrong sometimes? Of course we are, and we own up to it, okay? We don't just start trying to come up with different spin. Oh, do you double teamed? And that's just one issue. I mean, there's several issues. Fangio wanted corners. I mean, it's just never ends. And until this culture leaves, we're just telling Bronco fans, until this culture is gone, it's been rooted out and it's gone. I mean, personally, I'd even take Josh McDaniels because at least those other platforms would be critical. They wouldn't just be taking. No way would I believe that they would take Josh McDaniels' talking points. I mean, at least they'd be critical. So, I mean, I would even go ahead.
No, sorry to interrupt you. I apologize. You're going in. I honestly would take Josh McDaniels now than before because I think that he's learned, and I think that he comes from a mindset in New England where they need to build their offensive lines.
Well, that from offensive lines, yeah, but
line standpoint and how critical I worship the offensive line. That
defensive line.
Yeah, the offensive and defensive line. But if we're going to talk offensively here, everything runs through that offensive line. So bringing in Josh McDaniels, that's something that he understood when he was in Denver, in my personal opinion.
Yeah. I just can't. I couldn't hire. There's a lot of other problems with Josh.
Yeah. I know there is, but if we were talking about, hey, we need a guy that understands the importance of the offensive line, Josh McDaniels would be one of my top guys, in my personal opinion. Yeah, he has a lot of issues, but if we were just strictly talking about the offensive line, that's a guy I'd go out and get, or as an offensive coordinator or something. I don't know. I probably would be wrong on that assessment, but hey, we'll see what happens, right? Because New England's had a lot of success with that offensive line, and he comes from that New England pipeline that worships the offense and defensive lines.
It would be nice to get that anybody with that mindset. Maybe George. Yeah. Maybe that's George Paton, but we'll never know until this is the thing. We have. Let's talk about this. The whole buzz is firing Vic Fangio. I want to take everybody back in time. When Fangio got hired, what was going on at that time? Elway was the center. He couldn't hide behind George Paton. He couldn't hide behind Van. Everybody knew. It was common knowledge that Vance Joseph was a yes man. Even Sports Talk Radio couldn't lie about that. They begrudgingly would say, yeah, he's obviously a yes man. And Elway was the focal point. When Fangio was hired, everybody agreed that Elway would be held accountable. So as things started going south with Fangio, he hired George Paton, and then this ridiculous idea that somehow he no longer exists, and he gave himself a raise. He gave himself more power on top of it. Von Miller, who everybody hates now, and we predicted that that was going to happen. Again, where is the other online platforms? Where are they? We said this a long time ago that he would be the hated man, and he would be drummed out of town. I don't think Von Miller would have anything to do with the Broncos.
Yep.
So I mean, we can't even get into the Cleveland without getting through all this.
Yeah, I think that you brought up a great point with Von Miller and the other online platforms. When it comes to Von Miller, I think he's mentally checked out, and I think Thursday's night game should be a lesson for everybody that Von Miller is saving himself for free agency. Me and you know this.
Well, Elway knows he was going to be gone too.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
Elway didn't want to re-sign him when he was up for free agent last time. So what do you think he wants to re-sign Von Miller now? You know, that's something that we have to take into account. But we talk about, you know, how toxic this organization is. You know, I think George Paton does believe in the offense and defensive line because he said it in his press conference. He's like, every good team. And he said it in his introductory press conference when he came to Denver. So, and we obviously have seen a complete 360 of that when Elway got his draft pick with the first round pick with Patrick Surtain. They went and spent $30 million on Ronald Darby, which I think was a huge mistake. I love the player, hate the contract, you know, and you're paying Justin Simmons top 3 safety money. Like you're putting all your chips in the middle of the table in that secondary when you need to start worshiping the lines on this team, and you're not doing that.
No, well, given it the respect it needs, we see the other NFL teams. I mean, the Cleveland game was a glaring example. The national perspective brought that more into focus, the lines, but when that was our pregame, and you were the guy that really highlighted that.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm checked out. I've been checked out with the Broncos.
Yeah.
Ever since Elway tore apart everything that Pat Bowlen built and Wade Phillips put together and Peyton Manning put together, soon as Elway disassembled all that, because he is such a genius, you know. And to think that if you think he has no say, he feels this is his football team. And I feel that Elway is holding us all hostage. And these online platforms with and all of them in the sports talk radio, why are we continuing to listen to them when they sold us such a pile of crap? And you know, I want to get into just this idea. The question is players, coaches. Well, we could say both. How about that? First of all, when I looked at the Cleveland, I only had time. I've been working and nonstop, and I only had time to look at the first drive. I mean, I'm telling you, by Cleveland, and immediately, I want to bring up Draymond Jones because he was in a prime, and I gave the time to another commenter, and we'll get into, you know, it's not just Draymond Jones, but every piece is having these problems. In his particular case. It was a 1st and 10, and he had an opportunity to give the running back a sack, but he cannot physically get off of his guy. He is physically manhandled. How is that how can he be responsible for a player that just is not good enough? You know, it's not even on equal footing. So this is going on the whole game. It was going on all the game before and before and before. But that's just one player. And then you take a look at the other guy, and then the other guy. Then you take a look at the offensive line. Man, let me tell you, after this game, they were singing the praises of Bowles on Sports Talk Radio, singing the praises of him. Now, both the national and local announcers were just like, with Bowles, it was like, And it seemed like, in all fairness, both sides were getting away with some holding. Both sides were getting away. And Garrett Bowles was really and it wasn't like when I watched the Pittsburgh game. No, I'm sorry, the Raider game. Well, the Pittsburgh game too, but the Raider game. he was like holding a guy's arm like this, and there wasn't even a call. I mean, the defender's like he's got his arm like this, and Garrett Bowles is holding it, no call. I mean, that isn't holding a guy like this. Yes, that if you got, but they don't have technique guys that can do that.
There's a lot to unpack on what you said there. I just want to go back to Draymond Jones because you brought up a great point, and I think the point that I brought up in the offseason is being lost here. When they drafted Draymond Jones, I didn't have a third-round pick on the guy in a 3-4 defense. If he was going to a 4-3 defense and a 5-tech, I think he would look a lot better than he is in a 3-4 defense. And remember when I had the argument with that one commenter, and he's like, yeah, you're probably right. Draymond Jones would be better in a 5-tech. That's what I'm talking about. Draymond Jones is 6'3", I think 280, almost 290. He is more of a 5-technique player. And a 5-technique player is basically an edge on a 4-3 defense. And I think he would fit a lot better in that type of system. The one that Fangio runs here in Denver is a 3-4 defense. But again, I'm going to continue to explain it. I agree with you with it's both player and coaches. Draymond Jones doesn't have the leverage strength to get off his blocks, number one.
To be an interior guy.
Yeah, he doesn't have the interior rush, and he also doesn't have the recognition to know which gap assignment he needs to go into to let a Von Miller go around him or a certain player to go around him if it's a certain blitz package. So that's what a lot of fans and a lot of the local media and the online platforms forget to bring up when they bring up Draymond.
They don't discuss any of this stuff. It's just hype, 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 hype. There's no discussion. There's no discussion. Now wait a second. They now are floating out, flipping the Fangio into the 5-tech 4-3. That now they want Fangio to do that.
Yeah, because who brought that up in the offseason? This man right here. I've been trying.
Well, look at the player personnel.
That's another thing. We sit here and talk about this. The player personnel on this defense doesn't fit Vic Fangio's strengths as a defensive coordinator and his type of scheme. They don't. And this is a clear Elway defense. It's not even close. Oh, supposedly it is. This is clearly an Elway defense. You see, they are the highest paid defense in the National Football League and the highest paid secondary in the National Football League. That is no coincidence, folks. That they value hard on the edges, soft in the middle.
Let me ask you this: we've both deep dived into Fangio's teams. His latest, the Chicago Bears.
Yes.
And I've showed film on it. I'm trying to explain this to fans that refuse. They wash, rinse, repeat. Don't look at any details. Don't take apart don't lift the hood and take the pieces apart and see what you have. It just blame everybody except the guy at the top. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Who hired him? Okay. So this defense looks to me like everything Elway created after he got rid of Wade Phillips, hired Vance Joseph, who was just shut up, you're a yes man. I'm going to take care of the defense and the offense. Then if that failed, so he hires Fangio. But Fangio, let me go back just a little bit further on our conversation. What did Mike Kliss of the Denver Post report and Sports Talk Radio has ignore when it came to draft, the number 1 draft pick? What did Mike Kliss of the Denver Post and then George Paton was the one who actually said it, came out in public. Sports Talk Radio were like somebody got hit in the face and was like, oh. What did George Paton say, and what did Mike Kliss report? Please tell me.
That Surtain was Elway's draft pick.
And have you ever, in your look into the history of Vic Fangio, has being obsessed with corners ever been a part of his defense?
No, I think his obsession is the front seven, and we saw that when he was with Chicago and he drafted Roquan Smith with. I think it was the 7th overall pick in that draft, and I loved Roquan Smith coming out because he's a great coverage linebacker. And look how him and Danny Trevathan did in Chicago. It's just to bring up an example.
when he's allowed to do that.
Yeah, and he did.
And then we could even look back just as a point of reference to Vance Joseph. Look at how he's building a defense when he can actually do his job.
You know, and we talk about people coming in here and doing their jobs. I just want to bring this up to everybody. Me and you were talking about this off air about the Noah Fant thing. Could you imagine if they had Devin Bush and Zaven Collins on this defense? I would have been happy if they drafted Zaven Collins with the 9th overall pick. I wanted him or Slater or Jamie Davis.
That phone call went out. From somebody, and it definitely wasn't Elway, but that phone call went out. Methinks that was Vic Fangio. And what's the big problem they're now facing in Denver on their defense? What is now? It just all of a sudden hit them like a ton of bricks.
The depth in the linebacking core.
Depth in the linebacker, and all we've been doing is pounding the table on that, and now they're forced to talk about that.
Yep, and I just want to bring up a player that we saw against the Browns, and this would have helped us immensely. There's a guy named Anthony Walker Jr. who had a great game against the Broncos in the linebacking core, number 4 for the Browns, who they picked up from the Colts and got him on a pretty good deal. You know, a guy that I wanted in free agency. So
yeah, we talked about that too, didn't we?
Yep.
Yeah, we talked about Solomon Thomas, who had just a bust out game. Yeah, but we somehow don't know what we're talking about because all of them, they can't discuss this. It's blame, it's hype, it's, these.
If they talk about this and blame Elway, they lose their access. That's why.
Oh, no, you are not allowed. So you want now, and we think, for this shady character that we have on our platform, we have a bunch of other people that are saying, thank God somebody's out there, but we would never be able to give you a real analysis if we were tied to the organization because the players don't want to hear what we have to say. The Elway certainly doesn't want to hear.
Well, if you listen to that podcast that this guy we found and we put in the link down below in our last video, he literally said that he was on in one of those platforms and they told him what he could and couldn't say.
Yeah, and he said that too. You're not supposed to say this.
To Cody Rourke, and Cody Rourke, backtracked on the thing and said,
of course he did. Because these people have a vested interest in the narrative. And for Elway has put together a PR. He tore down everything Pat Bowlen stood for. Everything he stood for, and he put in its place some PR hype machine that tries to make Elway look like he knows what he's doing.
And when I was listening, I went back after I got off of my stuff yesterday night, and I'm driving home, and I'm listening to the podcast, and he wasn't talking about 2009. He was talking about the last 4 to 5 years.
Yeah, because he was at the facility.
Yeah, he was saying specifically that Billy Turner, a homegrown talent who we could have kept, got a shorter deal and could have been, he played more than Juwan James. And he was talking about that whole fiasco that was going down with Juwan James, saying that this man doesn't love football. And you guys are giving him $30 million plus for a guy that barely played for the Denver Broncos and Juwan James. And you could have got
that's a name, ahoy!
You could have kept Billy Turner, who's playing well in Green Bay right now, protecting Aaron Rodgers. It's retread stuff. We go for these high-priced free agents that Elway sees names, like you said, and we just give them money after
dollar after dollar after dollar, and it is the reappearance of Mr. Freeze. Yeah, we pay him top dollars.
Yep.
And they barely want to talk about that too. Was that Fangio? Did Fangio do all that? Of course it. Nope. Did Vance Joseph do all that? Of course not. Why would that be any different now? And then George Paton is the perfect buffer between Elway and it's like we will never know. Just like with Fangio and Vance, we'll never know the real George Paton until Elway is gone. We may never know because, like the one thing Sports Talk Radio is correct about, it's always possible that The new ownership could get rid of him too. It's always possible. So we may never really know the real George Paton. Not with Elway back there.
Elway needs to go.
Absolutely.
Elway needs to
and
go.
I'm saying, okay, fine, fire Fangio. Marilat, fire him. Were you going to promote Shermer? I mean, what are you talking? Okay. If you let him go, okay. But you're going to keep Elway and Ellis? I mean, that's not a part of this conversation. I go back to the beginning of this podcast. I pointed out that all you people were talking that Elway's got to be held accountable if this doesn't work out. And all we've seen is Elway as usual. All these moves and stuff, you can point at Paton, you can point at Fangio, you can point at Shermer, but all roads lead to Elway because nothing has changed. It's exactly as it always has been under Elway. Always. This isn't any different than when Vance Joseph was here. It just is.
And I agree with you 100%. And something stood out to me, and I think the number one thing that stood out to me when that whole podcast, they were talking about how all the players and even the players that deserve the contracts that they should have got, saying that this is one of them. They didn't like coming to work, and it was toxic.
You can see that now. You can see it now.
They just look blank in the eyes. Von Miller does. He doesn't care. And it's not just Von Miller. It's the other coaches. Drew Lock is happy that no one's going after him because Sports Talk Radio and Dove Valley hate him so much. It's ridiculous.
That's the talking points. Well, they hate Fant too. They hate him. And they're putting him in they're not even using, they're using him in a way to, man, it's like vindictive almost. It's really interesting. It's just like, why would you were talking about Sobert and it's like you have player personnel that's great in blocking schemes. Fant, you don't use him like everybody else uses theirs.
Like Scan did.
Like Rich Scangarello did. And even Sports Talk Radio, people have come on and have talked about that. But you've done everything to put him in like the worst light possible. It's, I swear to God, Elway to me is really like Warden Hazen, just vindictive and as this thing just keeps imploding around him, I think it's screwing with his head, even more, because he's done everything to like shut us down, and all he's done is make us look like, well, we're geniuses, and we're nobody really. That's one thing that the detractor has right. I mean, anybody can see this stuff. The other teams obviously see that. Cleveland absolutely just said to the Denver Broncos face, we do not respect you. We're going to go and we're going to shove this ball down your throat. We are in no way deferring. What did Troy Aikman say?
He said that a lot of this says that's rare for a team to defer now in today's NFL. He was taking a direct shot at us, and he was saying that, and this is something that Troy Aikman, and I love Troy Aikman's analysis, because when he came here on a Thursday night in Kansas City, he was saying that, man, I felt like I was sold a bill of goods.
Yeah.
And this is what
I was sold a bill of goods. Why would he say I was sold a bill of goods? Because the national, they picked up on the local. They spewed it everywhere, even though we're like, whoa, man, buyer beware. And the truth finally came out. The truth, not the Cecil Lammey truth, the actual truth with your own eyeballs, the truth your eyeballs can see.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why he's saying that. Yeah. Everybody was so. Do you think Aaron Rodgers may have felt that Elway sold him a bill of goods too if he wanted to bring him in?
I think Rodgers is that he come on. Why would you come to this organization? Seriously, Aaron Rodgers, why would you come to this organization? This organization's the worst in the National Football League.
Well, you think Elway? I mean, I'm sorry. You think Green Bay and that GM is? You wait till you deal with Elway. And besides that, you don't know what you're going to get once this ownership thing finally settles down. God knows what you're going to get.
We know what we're going to get in terms of what we have right now on this team. This team sucks.
Well, right now, I'm just saying, I'm talking down the road.
I know down the road, but right now, this is going to go to the Aaron Rodgers argument that everybody wants Aaron Rodgers. And Sports Talk Radio on Friday was saying that if we only had Aaron Rodgers in this game, and it was absolutely absurd for them to say that, because I've never seen a quarterback, especially when you're coming from Carolina and you're coming to Denver. Only Elway would do this. And how hurt Teddy Bridgewater was.
Oh, man.
In this game, he was basically on life support in this game. They have ruined him. This is something I said. This is something I
during the offseason into preseason, didn't we say this is Locke's replacement? Locke's replacement. There is no competition. It's fake, like everything else with the Broncos and John Elway. It's fake.
Yeah.
Oh, Teddy was head and shoulders above. Well, your eyeballs, didn't show that when it was first team and first team. Your eyeballs said something different, It wasn't like Elway was Locke was just so hopeless out there at all.
Well, Locke would have been hopeless out there right now behind this offensive
line.
Oh,
yeah, that was behind the whole team, yeah. So, okay, so we got that right, too, that this was a fake, that the whole idea was Bridgewater all the way. We knew that. Then we said this is the next thing, is that they're going to set Bridgewater up to fail. And everybody's going to now, oh, Teddy, we love you, Teddy, we love you, but you're just not good enough. We're going to go, please, Aaron, please. That is a dysfunctional organization, in my opinion. Stafford wanted nothing to do with this. Forget sports talk radio. He clearly wanted to go to LA. He wanted nothing to do with the Broncos. Brady went lobbying different teams, and Denver wasn't one of them. I can guarantee you that, because Brady made a comment and said that the teams that he went lobbying for didn't want him. I guarantee you Elway would have brought in Brady in a heartbeat, because he's like, I got the biggest one of them all. The biggest whale of them all, the biggest name of them all. But he didn't want anything. He didn't come to this team. He didn't. And it was another quarterback that snubbed Elway.
Yeah,
you are not. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say you are not going to get Aaron Rodgers. It is not going to happen unless he gets hit over the head and he doesn't know where he's disoriented.
I've been saying that since the draft night, that this deal was never going to go down. It wasn't going to happen. They were just doing it for spin. They were doing it for articles, and that's what this team is. It's every day there's something new with this team, and
some clown show.
And under Pat Bowlen, this team was under wraps. We were doing it the right way. We were understanding the importance on how to get the right player personnel and giving the coaches at least some of the ability to build an NFL team, and the GM to build an NFL team until Pat Bowlen had to step in and do his job. We don't have that here in Denver. We have a guy named John Elway and Joe Ellis, who obviously they're just, especially Elway, who he is so hell-bent on trying to put his own legacy in Denver in terms of, and it's going downhill really quick, and it's going to crash in everyone's face.
It is crashing. I mean, it's already a train wreck. The players, unlike Pat Bowlen, they don't want to play for Elway.
Why? No, why? Exactly. But why would they play here under Pat Shurmur and even Vic Fangio? Because Vic Fangio doesn't have the power that he has. So why would you play for these coaches, even the organization?
No, Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio. He has no problems whatsoever. Walking away from this gig would be the best thing that ever happened to him.
And I wouldn't be shocked if they fire him at the bye week. I think.
And I asked Bronco fans. I said, if you think we're off base, how come everybody succeeds when they leave here? Yeah, you mentioned that. You mentioned the offensive lineman, Turner,
Billy Turner,
Billy Turner,
Vance Joseph, Joe Woods, Wade Phillips, and the Rams.
The guy who went to Buffalo, that guy.
Yeah, Isaiah McKenzie.
Yeah, on and on and on and on and on.
Trinity Benson, Khalif Raymond, who's now with Detroit. All these, it's ridiculous. Chris Harris Jr. is doing good in L.A. with the Chargers.
You know what I thought was funny, too, is how these feel-gooders from the online platforms laughed at us for being pissed off that we got rid of Trinity Benson. And then who does Elway go? Where does Elway go to get his replacement?
David Moore and John Brown to the Raiders.
You can't make this stuff up.
I'm telling you, it's Al Davis all over again.
Yeah, it's totally Al Davis all over again. And you got the lapdoggers coming on here, and all they can do is say, "Oh, basement, elk, what's
Chicken.
that? Chicken Little. What's the other one? It's the QAnon. Yeah, QAnon." When you have to, you're so bankrupt that you have to come and say stupid stuff like that. It's no wonder we're growing. We grow all the time. It may not be by leaps and bounds, of course,
but it's incremental. We're fucking coming.
Yeah, we're incremental. We're just like the Hank Strand. We're matriculating up the field.
and why can't the other online platforms and STR just show?
Be honest.
Be honest, but show film. If you really believe your own bullshit, why don't you show film and try to back up?
Forty Rourke, he shows highlights. He'll show you all that, but you won't get into and deep dive into the problems. Oh, you don't show film? That was broadcast. Well, I'm going to show frame by frame on the broadcast. It doesn't matter. Whether this guy up on the stands, frame by frame of Draymond Jones getting manhandled and on single block.
You might as well do an all 22 on Draymond because they're not going to understand it because it's Gamecast.
It doesn't matter. I'll do both if they, I could do both to show that it doesn't matter which one you're seeing video. But period.
And what a major disappointment Garrett Bowles has been.
Oh, no, he was praised this week. He was totally praised.
Oh, he was praised when he's basically clotheslining Myles Garrett half the game for him to avoid.
That the clotheslining is this, So, and that, see, this is where the culture has to leave. It has to leave this.
Mike Munchak.
Yeah, if you get rid of Elway, all that leaves. I'm telling you. Once you get rid of Elway, all that leaves. And
the trust.
Yeah.
It's not just Elway, it's Ellis and the trust.
Of course. That's what we highlight Elway, but yeah, all that has to go. Well, Beth Bowen Wallace, she's the only one that actually is telling it like it is.
Of course she is.
I mean, I'll tell you what, I would have my utmost respect for Brittany Bowen if she would say the same thing. Say, we're on opposite ends, but there's one thing we agree with, that they're not running this team correctly, but she's a part of this not running the team correctly.
She's not going to be the owner of this team.
I'm sorry. She's not. And
they're going to get their money and they're going to be gone.
Yes. And there's no, I mean, and thank you, Beth Bowen Wallace, and thank you, Kaiser.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for not allowing that cancer to spread. Now, I don't know if we're
sorry.
What's that?
I think Kaiser realizes that too. I think he is in the same boat me.
Well, Kaiser's dead, but I don't know what his
the people.
But Kaiser was alive when he wasn't going to let Elway take ownership, and thank God that clause was in there. And I remember when they sold the team to Pat Bowlen that they were talking about that. And legally, if that clause continues to move, then whether he's dead or not, it's like a trust against a trust, and it's a very. I would rather see a more national investigation, something more outside the local, into it. NFL, of course, has their interest in this too. I'm sure that they're not interested in having both John Elway and Brittany Bowen interfere with the ownership process.
Nope.
I'm sure that's the last thing they want to see. I think they want to see, like you said, a Bozo. Well, I don't know. Bezo. The problem with Bezo, you look at all the other owners, and they look at Bezo as like, Bezo's a guy that you'd have to remind him every 6 months what team he built, because all the thing he knows is Amazon NFL, Amazon NFL, Amazon NFL, and how to, infect that NFL with the cancer, which is kind of turned into a cancer in itself, but infect that like a cancer, Amazon into NFL. That's his deal.
The more I think about it, I don't think Bezos is going to be the owner of this team. I just don't see it. It could happen, but I don't see it. I think it's going to be. I honestly, the more research I do on this, and I'm not just looking locally, I'm looking nationally, I think it's going to be somebody that we don't know about. I honestly believe that.
Well,
I think somebody's going to come out of the blue. I do not think it's going to be Jeff Bezos. I don't think it is.
you don't think it's going to be T. Rapper?
No. No. I don't think
it's going to be a clown show.
And I don't think the other owners are going to sign off on that, because they need to sign off on it.
Well, and you know what they're really being strict about is a single owner. They really don't want the multi-owner thing, the group owner. They're really hell bent on that too.
Yeah, and that's something that Sandy Clough actually brings up quite frequently, which I'm very proud of him for doing that, because no one else brings that up except for him on STR.
Yeah. So
give him praise and props for it.
So you know, we're at the point where we're just going through the motions right now, and we'll show film, we'll talk about games, but we know that this really doesn't change until this new owner comes in.
We'll see what happens, because it's coming soon. It's coming soon. They'll be here probably by next year.
Well, that's what STR is saying. But what did you have? Have you kept up with the Kaiser thing?
Somewhat.
It's still on hold, isn't it?
It's still going on.
Yeah, it hasn't been resolved. Correct? I'm correct about that, right?
You're correct.
Yeah, because locally they like to say, "Oh, Kaiser lost," but they don't tell you why Kaiser lost, because Elway was not given. Because they do have that. They have that ability to
have that clause in that contract. So that's why Kaiser lost.
Well, no, they lost. They lost because they do have it, and Elway was not. He couldn't get shareholder of the team. That's why they lost, because they would have went forward.
Thank you so much. Oh God.
There's only one person on STR to describe that. That was the judge. He said that too. He said that they really didn't lose. They lost by default because Elway didn't go forward trying to get his hands on this team.
Thank you, Kaiser. Oh man.
No, I know. Thank God.
Could you imagine Elway that? Ooh.
Yeah, so we that's one way to get rid of an Al Davis. But we still don't know if what we're going to get. That's the problem. At least we know that it could be as bad as Elway, but it can't be much more. It couldn't be any worse.
Oh man, I'm just so happy.
Always get better. That's all I can say.
I'm so happy Elway is not going to be the owner. Thank you. Kaiser, you're a lifesaver. Thank you. I'm going to continue to say it. Thank you, because Elway being the owner of the team,
that was good business. That was good business. And maybe Kaiser put that in there because he asked Bolin, "Who's gonna if you die in a plane crash, what's going to happen?" And he didn't probably have a plan. He probably didn't have anything at all. So he said, "Well, I've got to get first right of refusal." He should have, what Pat Bolin should have done, and it's hard. I understand it's hard to do it when you're in a new marriage and all this stuff is, but he should have groomed Beth Bolin Wallace to be the heir apparent. And he should have had to pat little Brittany on the head and say, maybe you can be a part of her marketing team. But he would have, but then again, you have your new wife who's going to hit the ceiling if that happens. That's the problem. That was the dilemma he was hit with. It's just because he didn't stay in one marriage. I mean, that was the bottom line, is that he had two wives and with a football team up for grabs. So
it's crazy times, and thank you again. Thank you, Kaiser. Just thank you.
I will post that podcast with that player talking about how dysfunctional Elway has made this organization, not Vic Fangio. Where does that start? When does that conversation start?
It's more middle towards the end of the podcast.
like the last 2/3 of the podcast.
Yeah.
So I'll say just start playing around the last 2/3 of the podcast. You'll be getting around it.
Yeah.
So yeah. So yeah, at least he was talking about the dysfunction. That's the only way this stuff gets out. Because like for instance, DMAC, I'm not going to say anything, but I'm a good little German. I won't say anything. Pat me on the head. I won't say anything bad about Shermer. I'll keep saying the Broncos are going to win. He didn't do that for the Buffalo Bills when he was out.
It's.
So until we quit fooling ourselves and spin doctoring and propellering and I just they say Vic Fangio, but nobody gives examples where he failed.
Oh, he fails at timeouts and.
Well, but that's minimal stuff. That's fine. Timeouts, that's minimal stuff. But we're talking about a bigger failure. We're talking about players that just don't fit systems. We're talking about when we talk about coaches, we talk about Shermer and the shenanigans he's pulling.
Shermer's just I can't believe. Man, that guy is just one terrible offense coordinator. He's worse than Scangarilla was.
Well, and everybody, the Giants fan said, "Buyer beware." We played all the bitching and the moaning about Shermer from them. I linked it.
Yeah, you remember when they said they didn't bring in Shermer to go 20+ yards downfield? Remember that?
Well, that was the crowd where that dingbat, the guy who's trying to call me out.
Yep.
That's those people.
Yeah. They're all shit, all Fangio. It's all Fangio's fault, not Shermer.
Don't look anywhere. Yeah, Shermer. So anyway, we're just going to watch this train wreck unfold. Yeah, we're going to watch the.
For all the crap I give the Washington football team or Redskins or whatever you say, which is kind of weird because, if you go up to a Native American, go, "Hey, chef," like the Chiefs, or "Hey, chief," and you're a white person, you think that, whatever, just keep it consistent if you're going to do that crap. But anyway, but they gave the Chiefs a run for their money. I'm just saying, last week. Yeah, the scoreboard isn't addictive, but they were leading 13-10 in the third quarter. Just saying.
Yeah.
So with that defense coming to Denver, it's.
Yeah, we're going to hear. Well, and again, they could knock Teddy Bridgewater this time out of the game.
Yeah.
Where they blitz. Yeah, because they'll just come after Bridgewater.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Aaron Rodgers.
That offensive line from Denver is going to be up all night the game before, because they are going to have to go against guys like Jared Allen, Chase Young, Deion Payne, Matt Donis, Montez Sweat, Cole Holcomb, Jamie Davis, the guy that I wanted, but whatever.
Jamie Davis from
Kentucky.
Yeah.
Nobody in the local media was talking about this. Nobody.
They just, again, if whatever Elway wants.
Michael Parsons.
Yeah, Michael Parsons. That would be such an Elway pick too.
He's actually balling out with the Cowgirls right now because I'm just saying.
In a system that features that. Yeah. That features that.
Yeah.
And Zaven Collins is balling out where he's at.
And so is Jamie Davis.
And Jamie Davis is balling out. But we got, I also noticed with Pat Surtain when I was watching the game, he's not a tackler.
Tried telling you.
He's not a tackler.
Tried to tell you, and I've been saying this from day one. Could have got Rashawn Slater. Could have got Collins. Could have got Jamie Davis. Just saying. And look how wrong all you people are now with. You remember when I did that Rashawn Slater video? Got a lot of views on that. I got so much flack on that. And look how he's balling out in the Chargers right now.
That's because it's Fangio's fault. All that's Fangio's fault. Them balling out everywhere else is Fangio's fault. not the guy who didn't pick them.
Shermer, you're an Elway guy. Get a pat on the head.
Sure, we'll elevate you.
Yeah, we're gonna elevate.
If that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about what's going on behind the scenes, nothing will. Nothing will.
Shermer, if you want to stay here, we can elevate you to assistant GM.
I wonder. Sometimes I wonder if Fangio's actually like begging, "Please fire me, get me out of here."
He doesn't even like the media here.
Well, you understand why, don't you? You do understand why. Elway's undermining him. His whole time has been undermined by Elway. Elway sits out and does talking points, sends them out, and then he's got to face these assholes. So, like I said, what coach in their right mind would want to come here? I mean, unless you got a suicide wish.
Yeah. Well, all the other online platforms are saying, well, if we just get, Kellen Moore, if we get Brian Dable, if we get Eric Bieniemy, why would they come here? Oh, we have a good young group of talent.
Bieniemy didn't even want to come here for an interview.
Yeah. Kyle Shanahan didn't want to. Why would those players want to come here? Well, according to Pro Football Focus,
out of London,
they're
London.
You remember all those platforms? They're the 10th best roster in the National Football League.
We're like, me and you are looking at each other and like, where is this? They've got to be paying somebody off to say this shit.
Always paying PFF to say that crap.
What did Troy Aikman say?
This is the worst offense I've ever seen.
What did he say? What did he say about I've been sold
a bill of goods? Why
would he say that? Why would Troy Aikman say I've been sold a crap bill of goods?
Because who told him about the hype of this team before the game on Wednesday when they meet with the people? Who told him? Elway. Oh, you're going to love this team. This team is an up-and-coming team. We're going to go to the Super Bowl. We're going to go to the playoffs. And then you put that shit of a product out there because you got your asses.
Against a team that you can sit there and whine about your injuries, but they're even more injured than you are. And again, player personnel. It comes down to the 53. Who's on the 53?
Oh, that night, Patrick Mahomes, the god that everybody likes to praise, got hurt, and Chad Henne was a quarterback, and they still beat us. So all quarterback. Chad Henne still beat you.
Well, that's what's Fangio's fault. That's all Fangio. Every bit of it, Fangio. Maybe with a pinch of Joseph. It could have been a pinch of Vance Joseph in there too. Just a pinch that.
It's all Flacco's fault.
It's all Drew Lock's fault. It's all Drew. Yeah, it's all Drew Lock's fault.
It's Case Keenum's fault.
Well, I want to say yeah, exactly. What I want to say about the Simeon too. He's in there, Ben. Blame him too.
Yeah.
When we say bill of goods, sold us a shit bill of goods, all the online platforms and STR should all have to be a part of that. They're the ones selling the shit bill of goods. And Bronco fans, why you go there and continue to be lied to, and it's beyond me. So now you got to send out people that I can't take it anymore. They're right, and I hate them. It's what I told you. I said they really hate us when we're right.
Broncos just made a trade. Hold on.
And it's Von Miller.
Vikings are sending Stephen Weatherly and a 2023 7th-round pick to the Broncos for a 2022 7th-round pick, and this is a defensive end. So what does that say? What does that say?
They're going to be missing. They're going to be missing somebody. I think somebody said, "I want out of here." I want out of here.
I think it's Vaughn.
You think? Come trade deadline?
I wouldn't be shocked. It's coming up in November 2nd.
Mark it. You heard it here first, right now, before anybody else said it.
Hey,
Vaughn checked out. And if you ran off, Feelgood's going to say, good, yeah. Zach and Oakley, Stokely. Oh, yeah, he's such a bad player. Oh, he's so good that we got rid of him. Oh, yeah, clown, honk, honk.
Brandon Stokely. Why? You are such an idiot. You played with him, dumbass.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they didn't like the way they got their asses treated online. You keep talking John Elway talking points, you should get no respect from anybody. This is why Vic Fangio hates them all as well too. It's just, I don't blame him. And you know, there were probably not a darling of all of them either, but you know,
us.
We're not pulling any punches.
We're about to speak Von Miller's language here.
Oh, I know.
He probably like, thank God there's someone trying to speak the truth.
Well, we're getting that from people. And again, it's just going to keep going more. And like I said, fire Vic Fangio. Please fire him. Then you're going to blame George Paton then?
This trade, I'm telling you, this might be for something for Draymond Jones too, because he's a defensive end. Stephen Weatherly. I got to look at film on this guy.
There was a big delay on the press conference. There was a big delay with the press conference. Of course, STR is running with Fangio getting fired. And I'm just wondering if Von Miller wanted a meeting with everybody.
Yeah,
and they've been grooming Simmons to take over Von Miller as the spokesperson for the team. But what a crap trade that really is. Your face of the team is a crap player, you know.
Justin Simmons, unbelievable.
That's perfect. It just tells you everything you need to know.
Everything
you need to know about this organization. So it'll just keep imploding. Like I said, man, they just do. You know, they can't fire Fangio. This is what I've been saying all along. They can't, because who do you blame then? Yeah, you can blame Shermer, but really, who do you really blame? You can't really blame George Paton. They tried to. I think it's funny. This hasn't even been a season.
Mike Munchak?
Yeah, I guess you could go there, but I mean, then you're running out of straws. You're grasping for straws.
The special teams coach? I'm blaming special team coaches here.
For 6 years of crap, they always like to just say five. They always like to say 4 and 5, but it's been 6 years. This is going on the 6th year.
Oh yeah.
They don't want to mention the 6th. You're going on the 6th. They don't. Don't. It's the 4th or the 5th. You know, all.
Super Bowl.
Yeah. So, it's amazing. It's just entirely amazing.
Yeah. So don't be shocked if Von Miller's traded at the trade deadline. Just saying.
Yeah, we got a defensive end. We'll give you a 7th rounder for this guy. What is he, off the practice field or what?
I don't know. I have to look more into the guy. I've never heard of him.
Yeah, well, you only got a 7th rounder. You're only getting a 7th rounder for him.
See what happens. I think.
Yeah. No, this has. You know, I think Vaughn came. I think there's a lot going on in the locker room, and I think Vaughn, speaking for the team. Forget Teddy Bridgewater, but Vaughn speaking for the team is probably saying, I'm sure he's defending Fangio too, and I'm sure there's a lot of pointing at John Elway, and that's why he's going to be gone too.
This could be an Emmanuel Sanders situation.
Yeah. A Wade Phillips situation. Kind of thinking of it.
Oh, God.
Scangarello situation.
They're going to get rid of one of their best defensive players.
Joe Flacco situation.
You know what? And you know what's sad too? You guys have a Hall of Famer in Von Miller, and you're pushing this guy out of town. Out of all the players you could have done it to, you're pushing out a Hall of Fame type player in Von Miller. But you know, Shelby Harris and Draymond Jones they get passes. You know, all that crap.
Oh yeah.
You know, how dare you, fans and John Elway and STR? How dare you?
Yeah, no, that's what they're all about. They've been about this from the beginning. And if people can't see this,
Let's get rid of Danny Trevathan, Malik Jackson, Derek Wolfe.
Let's just anybody that's good. Lindsay. Let's just keep
Janovich.
Andy Janovich. Let's just keep getting. Let's go down the run, and we'll drum Locke out of town. Let's just keep going. And then we'll bury Bridgewater. Please, we're gonna get Aaron Rodgers, because this is an organization that just screams we're one quarterback away. You're on crack.
Let's get rid of T.J. Ward. Let's get rid of
the clown that came from the other platform over here. He's going to be cheerleading Von's exit all the way. I mean,
if he does, how dare you? If you do that, how dare you?
Yeah.
You're talking about when it comes to Von Miller. You don't know.
You're going to blame Vic Fangio. Or if they're not sharing, they're going to be blaming. It's all Vic Fangio. It's all. And I guarantee you, I just hope that Von could actually speak some truth when he leaves and it comes out.
Oh, you know he will. He doesn't hold back.
I hope he doesn't hold back.
He does. I mean,
I hope lets everybody know what STR doesn't want you to know. I hope that a lot of that stuff comes out eventually.
I mean, it gave us a good idea of what this guy's about when he's going to leave. When he was on Oakley Dokley Stokely and the clown Zach By. So when he doesn't have the no holds barred and he has no holds barred on this team. Just saying.
Oh yeah. I don't think Fangio is going to be at the top of his teardown list.
No, it's going to be freaking Elway.
Well, he says he used the term that nobody wants us. That he said the GMs when they asked him what do you want. Well, it's not what the GMs want. He really made that point. The GMs. Yeah, so this toxic cesspool's it's just gotta get flushed from the top down. And I don't know why we're so amazed, because we said that in 3 years this team will not look anything remotely like it did going into this season.
It's just gonna suck letting a Hall of Fame player like Von Miller go, and he's gonna go succeed somewhere else.
Well, we knew this was happening. I predicted this in the offseason.
Well, it sucks because I'm a big Von Miller guy and I like his skill set and I like what he brings to the table. But can't have that in Denver. We just have to be miserable.
Of course not. Not when you got Mr. Captain Ahab up there. We'll get a name.
You know what? It's so funny how quickly they are grooming Justin Simmons this year to be the spokesperson.
I told you that.
And that makes a lot of sense now, because now I'm going to have to listen to Justin Simmons spew bullshit. And I'm going to have to listen to a guy who shouldn't be top 3 in his position, who sucks, who is hidden on every play almost, and gets exposed when people go after him because he's not a good player. So here we go. We're going to be miserable. We're going to be fucking miserable.
What week are we going into the NFL? Is it week 8? And you froze.
I think it's week 7.
I thought we just. This is because we did Thursday. We did the early. So okay, but for us going in next week will be 8.
Yeah, because.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. For the rest of the NFL is catching up with the Broncos and Cleveland. So if the Broncos are going into the 8th, so they're going into the midseason.
We're going to be 3-5.
I wouldn't put money on it, D-Mac. Yeah, laughing does it. You laugh yourself to
dumbass.
Oh, they're all just laughing. Everything's a laugh, and that's how society is now. Truth. Just let me apathetically, look the other way as I get, run over by a steamroller. So.
Oh, get the vaccine.
The hopium. Oh, Justin Simmons, you're the best.
John Elway, we love you. John Elway, you're not meddling.
No. It reminds me of the scene from Breaking Bad where he's shooting himself up with heroin. He's floating up to the camera.
That's exactly what this fan is. Hopium.
Basement dweller.
Also, Draymond Jones is blamed for everything.
Yeah. Well, you're right, because he's just been such a stud out there.
He's the best. He's the best. He's better than Von Miller.
Of course he is. Get rid of Vaughn. Put Justin Simmons in there so he can tell us how great everybody is.
Yeah, yep, absolutely.
Just follow the plan that Elway has, which is a no plan at all.
And just keep guys like Garrett Bowles around.
Oh, and not only that, but seeing his praises as he's,
getting
horse calling
people.
Yeah. I heard his name come up quite a few times, and it just like, okay. Then they're praising him the next day. That's the culture here. That's the culture. Keep Bowles. Get rid of a Hall of Famer.
Yep. And you could have had a Hall of Fame offensive tackle in Ryan Ramczyk. Just saying.
Yeah, and then on and on and on and on and on and on. Yeah.
But I don't know football, so.
Well, the guy upstairs certainly doesn't either. That's for sure. So
according to STR and the online platforms and the talks of fans, he won a Super Bowl 50.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, Bolin and Manning, they and Wade Phillips. No, they didn't. No. They didn't have nothing to do with that. Yeah.
No. Gary Kubiak, no.
No. There's only one person responsible. Just one.
And isn't it funny that Gary Kubiak retired and then he went to Minnesota and was off?
Of course. I mean, what's going on now with Von Miller is just a reflection of all that. It's just a reflection of all that. And I know that Fangio can't wait to get out of here fast enough. He can't wait.
Yeah.
Because he'll go somewhere and he'll succeed like he's done time and time again.
Yep. And he'll get players that
he wants, the right ones, and it'll look diametrically different than what we're seeing here. It'll look like it did in Chicago, like it did everywhere else.
I agree. Unbelievable.
Yeah. So market, most likely Von Miller is out, and I'm sure that's what the team meeting was about. I'm sure Von Miller said, "Look, this is I'm done with this. This is enough of you guys. The trade deadline's coming up. I want out of here." And believe me, Fangio wishes he could go right behind him too. Believe me, you'd just be doing him a favor. And you got Elway, so what else do you need, right? What else do you need? And you are frozen once again. So I guess we could wrap this one up. And call it the mid. We'll call it mid-season grade.
He is the savior of all.
Absolutely. We'll call this. We'll wrap it up, and we'll call this the going into mid-season grade. Looking into the rest of the season. Something along those lines.
That works with me.
All right.
All right.
And I'll try to break down film. I got a lot going on. I'm not sure how great. I'm sure I'll get shit for not breaking it down if I don't. But I know I'm on it. I got extra time, but I got so much going on behind the scenes where I'm at that it's going to be rough. That's all I can say. But like you said, we don't get paid for this, and we're doing it on our time, our dime. So it just to give you guys the straight scoop. So we're keeping it real, and take care, man.
All right, take care, basement dweller.
Yeah, I'll get back to my booze and hookers.
Make sure to send me a pimp card.
Oh, I will.
All right.
Take care.
Yeah, you too.
And a subscription to Basement Life.
All right.
All right. Take care.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.